It'll get done eventually.
It will.
Yeah, we're on the
Getting better?
development.
Did you see the fall fest, Linda?
No.
You didn't see my
Yeah,
post?
so they've been parking.
Was it on
Did you
Facebook?
know?
Was it on Facebook?
Yeah.
You know what? I just did a novel on Facebook for a while. I'm not gonna be able to do it.
I know, my daughter's doing that, and I'm like, well, at least give me some pictures of the kids to put up or something.
I know. I just was gonna take a break.
Yeah,
But there's a lot of communication that way.
there is.
I
Well, I got the tramps. No. Yeah. So I just put up save the date for September the 16th.
I know,
And it's the well, the one guy is still the original, because it's the 40th anniversary of Saturday Night Fever. So, it's the front four guys that dance and sing, and then a 9-piece band in the back.
So are they actually here the 16th? Is that the date that they're?
They're doing
Yeah,
September
Saturday, yeah, okay,
16th,
it's
yeah.
on Saturday night, okay. Oh my gosh. That's
So we're gonna do, we need people on the committee, because we're gonna do dress up, I've got disco
I'll be
ball.
on it. I'll be on it.
We need to hang a disco ball.
Yeah. We'll talk. We'll talk.
Well, let's give Jean one more minute, or did you say Jean was not coming, or?
No, she said she was coming. She'd get here as close to 12:30 as possible.
We'll give her here a minute. I think we'll move pretty quickly today with this agenda. I believe so. There's somebody to add, I got a couple things I'm gonna add to the agenda. Blew a heart attack when I bring it up. It's your company. It's the town's company. Robbie!
The big one. Come, Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, that's it.
Come,
Elizabeth.
All right, very good. Well, we'll get this meeting started. It's 12:30. It's our monthly workshop meeting, 12:30 start. We have a few things on the agenda. We did have one item on the agenda that we're removing, which is the discussion on the amendment to the developer agreement. Lou scratched that off of there, and he'll make the changes and bring it back to us if there is any changes to what we're moving forward with. So the first thing on the agenda is the Will MAPCO pedestrian plan, and we have with us today Bill.
Let you give a little bit of an intro. So the town began working on a pedestrian plan in conjunction with State Highway several years ago. And the gentleman we were working with was reassigned, and the plans just kind of lay dormant for a little while. Then I requested assistance, $10,000 grant through WMAPCO, our regional transportation planning agency, for some assistance to complete the pedestrian plan. In the meantime, Dan Hanley, Director of Public Works, his folks had attended a workshop on ADA compliance, sidewalks, programs, that sort of thing, compliance. And I thought, well, this is a great time to tie this together to do a really in-depth pedestrian plan, identify areas where we need sidewalks, areas where we need to improve the handicap accessibility, be compliant with the requirements of the ADA, and also to prioritize it so that whenever a grant comes up, CDBG will fund ADA compliance. We don't currently, we're not able to get area-wide benefit based on our demographics, but I can ask for funding to do sidewalks. This state highway also offers programs for sidewalk retrofits and rehabilitation. But with the ADA and the grant, opportunities, I thought it would be a great idea to do an in-depth look, and Public Works has been instrumental in doing a lot of research and checking the slopes and compliance, and Matco did a boatload of work, especially with GIS on this plan. And we're getting there. This is going to be the first of a couple meetings before it's adopted. We're going to let you know where we were. There's going to be public meetings where we invite the public to come in and comment on the sidewalk situation in Elkton. And we've included sidewalks that are also in the state highway right of way, and some of them that may be, for instance, on Muddy Lane, which is a county road, or portions of Whitehall Road, there's a county road, so that when we prioritize and say we need to have sidewalks, we can approach those agencies to try to partner with them to make improvements. So with that, I'm going to give you a contact with Wilmacco.
Real quickly, can this be amended, or will it be kind of amended during the public participation time, or?
Yes, this is just a correction.
And the reason, there's a couple of things as you were talking that kind of hit, and you may go over them as we go, but when we move forward toward the community center, is there the sidewalks leading there, that would be kind of included? And then I'll even go a step further. If we're ever fortunate to get the Sportsplex ever going, will Matco be involved in the sidewalks around that private park?
If there's grant opportunities through where we have to apply through Wilmacco,
Yeah.
then yes. Sometimes we do analysis, but I'll let.
Okay. All right, Bill, you're on.
All right, well, thanks for having me here. My name is Bill Switek. I'm a senior planner with Wilmacco. I've worked with Elkton in the past and with study some truck issues you guys had in the past, trying to cut down the truck traffic here. And of course, Wilmacco has worked very closely with Elkton and on the council, I believe. So it's great to be here and great to try to pull together some of this work to help you guys move forward. I put together a brief PowerPoint today just to kind of show you where we are with this study. He mentioned it's very much at the beginning phases, so there's really no recommendations or anything at this point. You guys are really seeing it for the first time outside of our little committee that's been putting it together. Go over to the slide here, it says steering committee. I did have two slide numbers that turned out very similar on the slide. That's number 3. We have for different members of our steering committee, really good with Maryland State Highway Administration, who are actually being part of this, making out the field work with us, which is really encouraging. So it's not just a town effort, and a macro effort on this Maryland State Highway as part of it, and the social administration as well. In terms of our project scope, which is on the next page, you mentioned we wanted to do a GIS inventory. This is geographic information systems. Gives us the ability to map out and put data with the stuff we map on our computer network. We did a full inventory of Elkton's pedestrian network already with that. We also looked at previous studies. We looked at prioritization of the system as well. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But where we still have to go is to figure out some recommendations, some new stuff that the town wants to do, new pathways, new whatever. Residents perhaps need to get from point A to point B, and then we're going to go through a process to try to prioritize that so that the town can apply strategically for that funding. So on page 5 here, the data collection, the addition task force, really get a sense of Americans with Disability Act compliance in the town, and we have this here just when the engineers look forward, looking at sidewalk programs in terms of different angles and so forth. I'll have to say that this ADA guidance changes. So a few years ago, we had the term curb ramp, and now a couple of years later, they changed the regulations. And now what used to be compliant no longer is. So it's very much a moving target with ADA. It's very frustrating for many localities to deal with it. But at the end of the day, it's a good system because it helps people get around. Page 6, this is just a map that shows sort of the overall look at the work to date and putting this map out there that shows the compliance of the different curb ramps. two different things that we looked at, sidewalks and also compliance. We got a little bit of a zoom in there just to give you an example of page 7. See the compliance around College Street, Bridge Street. See perhaps this way, perhaps not compliant. What we did too on page 8 was we turned this into not just a static map, but an interactive map that's live on our website right now. So you can actually zoom in and click on different data points. So pull up information about how well that intersection is doing with its compliance and also saying that with the sidewalk. So I think this is already a good tool for towns to use. So I'm taking a look at what there's a project in a certain area, maybe we would ask for a sidewalk, new sidewalk to this compliant. So move all around here. Next slide looks at just previous studies, and we've done a bunch of them over the last decade or so for Elkton. We wanted to kind of review each of these and get any recommendations that were made with respect to pedestrians, incorporated in our work, and forget about what we've done in the past. Page 10 is just a map that shows the project limits of those different studies. One of the key ones was a transformative development study that was done in preparation for the train station, come back here in Elkton, and that proposed some of the different streetscape elements part of that. So we're going to be incorporating that into this study. Page 11 goes through the pedestrian prioritization. And this is something that we do at the regional level. We basically take each segment, each block of road, and give it a score based on its ability to have pedestrian generation activities, things like bus stops, places people are going to be walking to, and places where they should be walking to, like community centers, libraries, different things like that. So basically what we did on the next couple of slides here is we took that work and zoomed it down to the town level. We were able to kind of score each segment of the road in the town for each pedestrian priority. And it's kind of heat map here on page 12 that shows which places in the town really should receive the highest priority for having the best ADA infrastructure, for having the best sidewalks and so forth. Simply because these are the places where people are already walking, these are the places where folks should be walking. These are also the places where we're seeing pedestrian crashes and fatalities and so forth. So in a world where there's a limited amount of money, this is a transparent, data-driven way to focus that. We're going to continue to define this system. At the last meeting, we talked about it as probably going to proximity to the train station, buffer up the place with crashes and things like that. So this is the plan version of this. It's going to be pretty close to what we have. Page 13 goes through just how we did the analysis. If you're curious, we basically use our mapping to figure out proximities to the parks, the libraries, community centers, and then we kind of draw buffers around them, and then circles around them. And basically, any feature of the road that's within that circle, that gets in the roads. Did the same for schools and crashes. Page 14 just goes through our project timeline. So, we're in the process now. We've done a lot of the backlog work, and it's really time to just get out and talk to people at this point, figure out what some of the priorities are for residents. As Gene mentioned, we're going through some workshops. Really want to build a survey that we can ask different residents what some of the priorities are for making these. Well, ask them where are places where you would like to walk to in the town that you can't already. How do you get from point A to point B? It's really a perfect world. And then we're going to try to incorporate all that into our final studies. We have listed previous work, new work, we're going to prioritize. So basically, at this stage, we're looking for town adoption this January, just basically get the summer, as well as the fall. And we'll take any questions and ask slides.
Does anyone from the board have any questions?
I do. The public survey, is that going to be on your website that someone can do on the website? And if so, can we put it on the website and link?
So absolutely, yeah, it'll definitely be on our website. We'll probably do something like Survey Monkey that can tally results easily. We give permission to get a gift card, some sort of incentive for people to get into the drawings and take the survey. We would probably be also just doing field work out in the town of different festivals you may have.
TOT, they did the fall fest.
We can do that, we can just draw up at store on 40 downtown as well. Get away from the otherwise, whatever it is to encourage people to get that.
Nice.
How much information do you know on Locust Lane, turn coming from High Street to Locust and the sidewalk? I know before we talked about the telephone poles was an issue on Locust Lane. What did you know about that? Are we upgrading it?
We did a study on the Locust Lane sidewalk feasibility studies. One of the documents they included in looking at this. And there are serious sidewalk problems there, also right-of-way issue constraints. So we, that is included in those priority. Yeah.
ACI even did engineering.
I was just wondering if they
on that.
They did it for
for
the High Street around the Ford property, not, I don't think they did.
Oh, I thought we had something wrong with the on Locust Lane between,
Is that-
Wasn't there something about?
I think it was in the stuff.
Yeah, there's probably a long sidewalk.
yeah, you had to roll out.
So that was one of the plans that was included. No, we applied for funding, we received it, it was less than what we were awarded was less than what we needed to complete the plan, so, decided to back off of that. We're doing a portion of, East High Street around the Ford property where there's no sidewalk. And the next thing we're gonna do is look at the Locust Lane and see what we do in-house on that. As part of that.
Anyone else have any questions? I had one, not really related to this. What are you hearing in regards to Will Mapco chatter with the train station happening in Newark? Is there anything you can report to us that you're hearing?
With station.
The MARC, maybe the MARC train connecting into the new Newark location. Has there been any discussion or?
Yeah, I mean, what needs to happen is the station needs to get done first before the detail up there.
Okay.
There's not enough room at the stations and get it. So that project is moving forward. I know that a parking lot element of the project started this year. So
Okay.
it's going to parking lot. That's huge. That station is going out.
Okay.
So it's going to be staying in the same spot. You looked at moving it over here and over there. Right now it's going to be in the same spot.
Well, I think we might be talking about two different trains. Are you talking about the Wilmington train station?
You are.
The Newark, okay.
So, yeah, once that station gets built, which
Okay.
is planned over the next couple of years, that will be
Okay.
Mark has to think about an interest in coming up with it is still possible.
This is what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
How does Mark coordinate with Amtrak for the use of those tracks by extending from Perryville to Newark? Just curious, but there's 3 tracks there, and Amtrak and Norfolk Southern and all of them use those tracks, so.
That's a good question. That's something I don't know.
Okay, I was just curious, because it's kind of a matter of just running up there. You actually have to coordinate a.
Dave Bull is the train
Rail
guy.
schedule.
And,
Huh?
Dave Bull is the
Yeah.
train guy at Marco.
Okay, I was just curious about how we would do that.
Well, very good. Do we have any other questions for Bill?
Just one last question for me. Have we ever done anything previously on Northbridge Street?
study-wise, or
Anything?
not the
Not
town?
yet.
You had suggested that we run a sidewalk from City Pharmacy that goes down to the bridge. Because I had sent a thing to the state highway back on that. They haven't got back to me on that, but we did pursue that. Because that's people walk down the sidewalk. Property and sidewalk there. I
It's
think
identified as.
somebody said
their
something to you
sidewalk
about
from
down there on Bridge Street, right? Yeah.
On the map, it is identified as new sidewalks exists there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bringing compliance. And basically, we can add stuff, so that's what we're looking for, and what we're looking for in the surveys, to find out those things, like new projects and new ideas. So I'm gonna write that one down, if anyone else has any ideas, please just contact us. But of course, you guys are the survey, and so put that out, get out to your constituents.
Ernie, how does all that tie into sidewalk construction along State Highway right for it? That was Will Mapco coordinated, because I know you got somebody on Will Mapco from the State Highway too, so I didn't know how that worked, because 213 is a state highway. So, in a municipal project, be a state project.
Yeah, they, sometimes they'll run programs like the sidewalk retrofit, and if you recall, we did the sidewalk retrofit, by the, I think it's Chris Auto, years ago.
Oh,
We
yeah,
did one
okay.
we did one up here by the, middle school.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, their programs change over time, so I'm not sure what's available now. The program's currently in place now for sidewalks along state highways. But if they have programs available and we have a prioritized list of sidewalks, then that helps support an application for a grant or for assistance to have that done.
Okay, so it would be a good idea to have all those projects incorporated into this plan that's adopted in
Yes.
January of the mayor and commissioners. As again, supporting the, okay.
Bill, thank you so much.
You're dismissed.
All right, next up on our agenda, we have Miss Linda Burris going to give us an update.
How are you guys?
Doing great.
Reduction on power.
Yes, we should all get that. Thanks for having me for today. One of the things that, since we've worked with Exelon, that they are asking us to, which may seem a little bit odd because most of you might see on a regular basis, but they're asking us to meet with all of our local elected officials, commissioners and things, and kind of just talk through, are there any issues, concerns that don't worry, and this isn't about me. It's kind of, because a lot of people are like, oh, no, we talk to you all the time. It's more so, are there things that you would like from us around reliability, communications, street lighting, anything like that where you would say, I'd like to elevate this. And then ultimately what we do is we develop what we call a green board. We'll take I'll take each of the areas that I have, and I'll say, I met with Elkton, and these two areas are green, things are going smooth, and there's really no issues. This is a yellow issue, there's some concern. Or this is a red issue, and we really need to jump on this now. And the key to that is that something doesn't come up in the town, and it gets beyond where I am, and me not even know about it. So, I said, that's unlikely in my mind to happen, because I do see those issues. But I don't want to take anything for granted. So this is an opportunity for you guys to, yes, share with me. Yes.
Myself and Mr. Gibbs, when we were running for office, promised two young ladies that we was going to look out from Mara Avenue, maybe that curve where the bush was a tree.
Yes.
The lady's house got robbed twice, it was dark, I had people come through. Remember that, Gibbs?
Sure do. I passed her the other day.
And it's a tree, two trees, but it's real dark right in the alley where everybody comes north. It's coming up near Nara and trying to think. I get where it goes.
It's the intersection basically right there where Dick Reed is.
That's Washington Avenue.
Washington Avenue.
No runner, right?
And,
He lives in Washington, then you take a right, I'm not sure if that's Roosevelt, and then on Meyer Avenue, because that's over 40 by the station.
Roosevelt, I think is what you're saying. But it's right there, right at the end of Dick Reed's.
So is it, because there's a couple of issues. Is there no light there at all? Or is it a light that's out a lot and we're not responsive? There's no lighting at all.
At the time, she said there was no lighting.
Okay, we can look at that and see, because, you guys were part of our LED pilot, which started a zillion years ago, it seems now. And we had to wait for, we had to do the pilot, then we had to wait for a rate case so that we could implement or have an LED rate assigned. So that has happened. In April, there was, as we went through a rate adjustment, there was, the LED tariff is now approved, and that's just fancy.
So you
words.
can do LED lights now?
We can do LED lights now.
Because I always high pressure sodium or whatever,
Yes.
but they weren't available.
No, and the only reason that we said they weren't available was because we didn't have a way to price them.
That's it.
So now we do, what's also written in there is that each area, or town can request up to 20 a year. We'll do 20 a year for you at no charge, basically it's us. And that's really just because of our limited manpower. It's not necessarily, so towns don't necessarily like that, because trying to pick 20 lights that you want to have done, it either needs to be in an area where there's not a whole lot of lights, because most people don't want half the street done.
So when you say a light, you mean a light that attached to an existing pole?
We can do retrofits.
Okay, because sometimes we upgrade our lights, and there's a pole there, so I send the pole number down to the, northeast office.
Right.
And say, we want a light there, and they usually specify 5,800 watt high pressure sodium lamp.
Okay.
And then that's what they'll do. But if there's no pole there, it's different, because then they have to actually set a pole and then run a service from a transformer.
Right.
That's where we get into quite a bit of money
Okay.
to do that.
Let me
You're
check,
talking-
let me check with Juno to be sure, or Randy, just,
At June's usually, I don't usually go to June unless
Usually
I have
go
a
to-
problem. I used to go to Scott, but there's a different guy there now.
Brian Risco,
Um,
Mike Sinelli?
Mike,
Mike,
that's what I
okay.
usually go to.
Mike's been around a long time.
Okay,
He's stayed in
I don't have a
troubled
problem.
areas.
He usually
Okay.
send in what I want, where it is and everything, and list the poll number if it's there, and he usually gets to it, so
Okay.
that's a green,
Okay.
Nah.
Most.
It's complicated, but a good example is over there on, off Whitehall Road, we put a pole in. That wasn't as bad because they had a transformer there. And they just run the wire from the transformer to the pole. So we had to pay for that. But over on your end, it was a lot more expensive because they had to run the transformer wire all the way up and then set a pole too. So it was expensive. It was
So-
also several $1,000s.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay, I was just gonna say, the 20 a year is direct billing, basically.
That's what I
Yeah,
figured.
it is, so, but if you. if
Take a
there's-
light out, put another
Yes,
light in.
Right, so if you want something different, then we just have to go through the normal channels.
Is the 20 limited to, if we put a new in, can they still, is that part of the 20? If we put a new light in, requesting an
No.
LED?
No, we're not gonna do that.
Okay, you just
Yeah,
want to
because we want to do
retrofit.
light, yeah, you can do 20 retrofits in here.
Okay, gotcha.
And I should have brought this up to Lois, but since we were talking about lights, there's a light on Gilpin Avenue. There's only one pole, one light, and it's, what's the name of the person that lives half in town and half out of town?
Dick Boyle?
Dick Boyle, so it's there at the Boyle house.
Okay.
There's a light there, and Mrs. Boyle over the weekend told me that the lights on and off.
Well, what we
Oh,
do there, we get.
was that, were you with her when one of our?
Yes, I think
Yes,
so.
okay. Because we had gone
Now,
out on that.
Mr. Lemon, I don't know if he's seen it, he lives right down the street there.
Okay.
Mrs. Boyle is a good friend of mine, and she's very vocal.
She said her light was blinking on and off.
Well,
Yeah,
what we do in a case like that, if they call us.
I know. Well,
say,
she called me and
We
I
get a
saw her.
phone number, and there's, Delmarva has a number, you call. And then
So-
they'll put it in their.
So what do I need to do now? You want me to go down and get the pole?
No,
You
because I
just
think we got that.
Okay, perfect, that's
Yeah.
great.
Okay, so that's how they do it. That's how we do it.
All right. And then the other thing that we need, we'd like for Delmarva to put all new lights in our Meadow Park.
Yeah.
No,
I know, Meadow Park.
Oh,
No, we just have to say Meadow Park Light. You know what, we really do, I mean.
Maybe,
at the end-
you could partner with us. Listen,
At
we,
the end of the day, if Meadow Park is an area where you really want, like, I mean, what, they really want us to go out and find out.
well, listen, we're reaching out. We want power at Meadow
At
Park.
Meadow Park.
We want power.
Well, there's a power there, and
Yeah.
there's lights there, but they want the additional light.
Okay.
but there's already
So
some.
there's some power there, right? I know
Oh, there is
along
power
there
there.
today.
There's power.
But
Yeah,
more like,
but we did do a study and the lighting wasn't adequate.
Okay.
30, it should have been.
60 or 80, we were only about 50% of the lighting.
Yeah, for the
Have you
windows.
guys ever, has Ben Hazza talked to you from Elkton? Okay, he's a wonderful, asset to the towns. He's a lighting guru, because our lighting guy retired like 15 years ago, we never filled the slot. So, which is horrible, because none of us are lighting experts. But then, Mazza from Alpine, and I'll send you his contact information.
Yeah, we use halogens, that's who, the fixtures are halogens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Downtown.
I know when John Denver was here, he was instrumental in helping with all of the streetscape and your Main Street and all that kind of stuff, I think, from what he was telling me. He's a good person for you guys to have in your back pocket, because he can do lighting designs for you, he can help you with what, look at that park and say, this is what you really need to make it be a viable, safe area.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, he does that for the town. I just met with him the other day, so I
He's
was.
with Delmar.
No, he's with
With
Hal
Hal.
Payne.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
the contract.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're like a waiting guru.
And I guess the last question or comment that I have is, and I don't know whether to ask you as a question, because I don't think I should ask you as a question. But you know where I'm going with
I
this.
know.
We were having a beer, what would you say to me? There you go.
Well, I know what your answer is going to be, but I want Louis to hear your answer in a way that we don't have to ask permission to put stuff on the poles.
Yes, okay, that's a very good thing. Here,
Yeah, I don't think that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You may not want to make an official.
no, here, the official response is, the space is so controlled and limited now, of kind of where some people want to put stuff. Not talking banners and things like that, but cameras and all those kinds of things is becoming a problem because there's just not enough space on the pole. So our joint use, which handles all pole attachments, their standard answer is, if you don't have an existing agreement to have something on the pole, you're not getting a new one. In my mind, you guys already have banners and things like that on the
Right.
poles that you want to use,
Mhm.
and I'm fine with that, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay, well, then you answered it.
So if there is something other than that, and this is where some of the LED lighting is gonna come in, and I just met with Ben Mazza yesterday, so you probably wanna have this, I'm not a technical guru,
Mhm.
but if you have a conversation with Ben, you'll probably understand a little bit better about this. But basically, he's saying that the new LED lighting it's called Generation 2, it's gonna have the ability to have a wireless kind of mesh thing, so that we could send pictures or cameras, speed kinds of things, that kind of stuff. So, because that's mostly what I get asked, is can I put some type of camera either for security or for speeding? So, I don't know. We can talk, how about we go like offline?
What I was looking, I can tell you quite frankly, what I was looking for is you enter into, when you get to Frenchtown Road, coming from Chesapeake City, going into Elkton, I would like to mark my territory, or mark our territory. I'd like to have a banner on a couple of those poles that says, "Welcome to Elkton."
Very similar to what you do, or what I'm gonna say, Northeast does with, we're not talking way up high.
No.
We're talking further away.
There you go. That's good. No more banner talk.
Well, I mean, I've been down that road with them before, and I just,
And they said no.
yeah.
If you ask, I know what
It was
we.
yes at one time.
It was yes at one time.
And then somehow things got changed and then the discussion started again.
So do you have any banners in town? Do you have any banners on poles in town?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So we already have an existing
And we
agreement?
had them on 213.
We do.
We had them on 2013.
And somebody made you take them down?
Yes, and I will not mention that person, but we were asked to take them down. Or not replace them with the new ones we were putting up.
See, we own the poles on Main Street,
Right.
power poles.
Right.
So you can-
But the poles on 213, they could be, I don't know if they're Delmarva,
Well, they could, they're.
Verizon.
They could be a Verizon pole, they could possibly not be. If you know for sure poles that you would say, listen, I would like to put a banner, not way up high where it's in anybody's space, it's down low, and I know what they're gonna say, maybe it's the guys from climbing the pole, they're not gonna climb a pole in 213, they're gonna have a bucket out there, in my
Yeah, I
mind.
don't think they.
Yeah, they weren't.
Anymore, do they?
Yeah, only if they can't get a bucket
The
there.
brackets could still be there, actually.
Give me the poll number so I can
Okay.
verify that they're our polls.
We'll do that, we know which ones they are.
Yeah, sometimes I would go to June and ask.
And he's gonna
them.
tell you no.
Yeah,
He's
huh?
gonna- June-
No, I don't mean about
Oh,
permission,
okay.
but to find out the ownership of them.
Yeah,
I
and
know
that's
some are
what-
Verizon with Delmarva, some are Delmarva with Verizon.
And that's
then,
like-
of course, you have Comcast and everybody else on there too.
I don't have the system to be able to do that, but,
Yeah, they have more.
yeah, but they do, and they can tell me whether who's told it.
Mr. Lemon, you had a question,
My suggestion is,
suggestion.
you're gonna do what you wanna do. My suggestion is that you send Linda an email and you do it and let her sort of smooth it through the organization.
It's always a good suggestion.
And then you don't have to run into opposition from people that haven't heard this conversation.
There you go. Does anyone have any other questions or comments for Linda?
Thanks.
Thank you for the great job you do.
Thank
You do a wonderful
You guys
job.
get in contact me anytime you went to the DPW, I'm sorry, usually is in contact with me regarding lights, and that's fine, because then I know it's done. I feel better that way. So just send me a phone number.
Thank you.
All right, guys, thank you.
Thanks.
I'm gonna scoot out, enjoy the rest of your meeting.
All right.
Thanks.
Lou, you've got the Cecil County Memorandum of
Oh,
Understanding.
yeah, there was an error in it. Okay, we had our proofreader check it. And the council got a copy too, and there's a provision in here, I think they changed, that allows this auto renew policy, you know, if you don't give them notice. Renews. Yeah, 60 days notice, and that way you don't have to keep renewing it every year. I think other than that, I think it's pretty much the same, and it is, so we just need to put Alan McCarthy's name on there.
It's,
Terry Moore?
well, I can.
I suppose they would send that out to everybody.
Jason just said, oops.
That happens.
It happened. Let's see where.
That's all that
Doing the meetings calls me Mayor Fasano once in a while.
That's all that was for that. And I'll bring that up at the meeting on the 21st.
All right, very good.
Executive on that.
I had a few things I'd like to bring to the table here. The first one was, you know, I'll mention waste management again, and on Monday, my trash was picked up, and this is the second time in 2 weeks. I had an extra box next to my regular trash, and they didn't pick up the second box. They're not getting out of the vehicle, they'll dump the one container, and then they're not going over to get the other container. My concern is I'm okay with it, but it's the year, right now, we're in the month of graduation parties, events are going on, and I can promise you, we're gonna be getting some calls if they do the same thing today over in Patriots Glen, not picking it up properly.
What day are you?
On Monday. I'm on Monday, but they picked up my regular trash, and then there was a little box sitting right next to it, and they left it. That was one concern that I have, and I know that you'll reach out to Laura, and this is the second time in 2 weeks that this has happened, and they missed all, I can tell you for sure, in Patriots Glen, they did the same thing for those folks. They were picking up the trash, and if they had anything sitting next to it, they were leaving it.
When you put out your trash, is it in a container?
Yes.
I don't know if Michelle got hold of them. I keep thinking I saw an email where the person operating the truck was not the regular person.
I did see that,
Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
but it happened again yesterday, or Monday.
In many cases, and I paid for service, the truck drivers actually have a grabber, you know.
Yes, that's what they use.
Grab the container and dump it, and that's all they'll do. They'll only do it. Elkton has a little different scenario because we don't provide totes to everybody. Some have them, some don't, some without trash cans. So I don't know if a driver I'm not making excuses because we ask them to pick up trash no matter what.
They pick
So I
up.
don't know why, huh?
They pick up everything.
Well, that's what I'm saying, normally they do, like,
Boxes,
there's something to do for us.
Mr. Lemon?
I was just picking up on one unit, I had 2 carts of junk, they were gone, and my neighbor had something out there, and that was gone.
Well, that's great news,
So they
Mayor.
did what they were doing.
They're sticking it to the mayor.
Is it one truck?
I'm sorry?
One truck? Same truck?
I don't know, the mayor brought up the example, and then we had the issue with a place up in, Patriots Glen. But that, other than that, I never hear. they don't
Okay,
pick up
well,
trash.
hopefully, I was the only one that didn't pick that box. And now I will tell you,
As long as people not to pick it up.
well, but the box, I have to, now listen, if I wanted to defend waste management here, the box, it was a box, and it should have probably been put out tomorrow in my recyclables instead of being regular trash. Now, that's to defend them here a little bit, but where I was gonna get at, I think that I'd like to get waste management in here, and I think Michelle just stepped out, but I wanna ask, there's some questions that I wanna ask waste management. I reviewed the agreement that we signed, our contract, and I reviewed the bills the other day, and they're doing everything that under contract. Other than there's no requirement that says if you got 10 boxes of trash, there's no rule in there that says you're not gonna pick up all 10 boxes. They're gonna pick our trash up per household, is how our pricing is. But the reason why I'd like for them to come in is I'd like to do a trash audit. Sounds kind of crazy saying this, but I'd like to do a trash audit, and here's what I'm looking at trying to accomplish. We have folks that, let's use Main Street and North Street as the specific examples. Apartments upstairs on Main Street, North Street. You get out there, sometimes you go by a Sunday afternoon and they've already put their trash in the bags on the street.
Yeah.
So first thing Monday morning, when we're getting a lot of traffic into our town, it looks like Main Street and North Street are pretty, quite frankly, it's not the most pleasant street to look at first thing in the morning. I think what a trash audit could do for us, and this is where I'm getting at, is maybe we can put a dumpster and get the tenants of these buildings to take their trash. Instead of putting it outside their door, they walk 100 yards to put it into a dumpster. Now, I have had a discussion with Mike and Cricket Brown, and they have a dumpster across the street. When I say across the street, it's on Main Street. What's the name of the little alleyway between the courthouse? And he was telling me the other day that there's a lot of people that'll put trash in his dumpsters as it is. And I said, well, Mike, what if you partnered with the town here and allowed us to have everyone on Main Street put their trash in there, and maybe we can get this taken care of? He said, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
So I think we could partner with maybe some of the businesses that have
And
trash
that's a
service.
very good thing, because now if you think about it, because I'm always going in at 6:30 and on that side of the road
Mhm.
there, they use Mary Beth's dumpster
They do.
also. Hers is always full and it's not her trash. So between Mike and Cricket and Mary Beth, there's no trash out front there. But when you're turning into Main Street, especially on the right, it's all trash bags, and on the left, it's all piled by
Yes.
Minnie's old door, Howard House.
And maybe we can do this audit on our own. Maybe it's, maybe we do it as a team. We identify an area where we could put a dumpster. And once again, I know the problem is, you're gonna have people putting product in that dumpster that shouldn't be. But I can tell you, it's gonna make our town look so much better if we can get the trash off of Main Street and North Street, the heart of the town. It's my feelings anyhow. And then even if we took it over, let's use Buttonwoods or Turnquist or Delancey Village. Those folks can't put they don't have carts to put their trash to take it into their backyards. So they put it in a bag in front of their house. Maybe there's a place we could put a dumpster in Delancey, Turnquist, Buttonwoods, where it's a mass dump. It's gonna save us money, it's gonna save waste management money from just coming in and making one pickup and dumping it, rather than the guy getting out, picking up spot, does that make sense?
In Buttonwood, you have the different areas, you get to have dumpsters in all those areas.
Yeah.
Because people wouldn't in 100 block walk over where the 500 block is.
Yeah.
So you'd have to have a lot of dumpsters.
A lot of
They would take up
dumpsters.
their parking spaces. That would be the thing, because the dumpster is pretty big, and then
They are.
it'd probably be a 6-yarder or something like that. Truck has to be able to get in to lift it up. So you basically have to lose a couple spaces.
I would like to try it, maybe in one area, whether it's Delancey or Turnquist or Buttonwoods, and see how the people like it. Maybe it might be a home run, or maybe they might say, my gosh, this is a pain, but I don't mind if it's a pain, because it's gonna be so much
So what
cleaner.
if I go to take my trash to the neighborhood dumpster and it's overflowed?
Then we gotta get,
And, you know, I just drove 2 blocks to dump my trash. I don't know.
I don't picture it being that far of a, I just picture it being a wall. Mr. Lemon, you had another
I think
comment?
you'll find that expensive.
It'll be more expensive?
I think you'll find it very expensive because they're gonna have to come in with a separate truck to pick up the dumpster in each one of these areas. And now they're just going down the street, throwing things in the thing, and it goes wherever it goes. So I think what you're saying is a good idea in the sense of cleaning up the town, but I think it's gonna be very expensive. I would run that by waste management.
Well, that's why I'm asking, we get them in here for a, maybe a audit, a trash, it sounds kind of crazy to say
You
trash.
guys can just call them up and give them your idea and just.
And I do have to say,
Some prices.
I'll get their manager, one of the
they come
managers.
very early downtown. They do come early.
I can tell you, I see trash out there, people,
But
if
it's the
they're,
ones putting out Sunday. They
it's
are.
terrible. Then the birds pick it, there's no container they can put it in. Then the birds pick it, and the cats, I mean, it's a mess.
Why can't we put them out, put it out somewhere?
You-
Well, they're supposed to be in a container.
Those guys pick up my stuff at 6:30 on Monday morning. Count. So maybe the idea is to get them to make their route to go down Main Street at 6:30, and go other places some other time.
And that could be part of the audit.
You gotta be careful too, because some people will invariably put it out after the truck passes and leave it there. Then our guy goes out and gets it.
Well, I guess-
We have our
You have to
people.
let them know what time they're coming.
Yeah.
They know what time my guys
I guess,
Can't be manipulated.
I wanted to bring that up so that maybe we could discuss it. Lou, maybe you can bring it up to staff meeting, maybe there's something we can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And-
But I'll get a waste management guy in here. because
Perfect.
I think it would be good to talk to somebody.
Yeah, very possible, maybe we pick it up. I wanted to mention to the board that tomorrow is June 15th, and within the next couple of weeks, I'm sure that Public Works is going to have someone out there digging out the Marina Park to put the kayak ramp in that we've got the permit for. So that's all going to be good news. So we'll have our little kayak launching ramp, hopefully by the end of summer in.
Anybody want to go to the kayak business?
There we go. Kayak business would be great. Yes, it'd be
Little
great.
stand there with everything.
And then the last thing, since we had time, the last thing I wanted to mention was, I've asked the board in our regular meetings about our hookup fees. Currently, we're at $5,000 for a hookup fee for water and $10,000 for a hookup fee for sewer. Last year, we had 2 building permits, housing permits. So we actually were able to collect $20,000. I think we had, the health department paid for a couple sewer connections, I think, for us, and so forth. But I've asked the board to think about this, and I'd like to make a formal request next Wednesday about this. But anywhere where we have existing lots in play, we've got, I'll use an example, Walnut Hill, I think there's 50 or 60 existing lots. We've got up here,
Great Mountain.
Gray Mount, and then we got the townhouses, Baker Hill, I'll call it, the Baker Hill.
Big Green Hole.
We got Liberty Hill, which are approved lots, but there's no engineering done. But these places where we got approved lots, I'd like to see if it would help encourage building again. If we either waived or gave a discount off of the major facility fees for a window of time. And my window of time was a 2 to 3 year window. If they didn't get their permit pulled, or if they didn't have to start the construction, then they'd have to pay. But I hear it all the time from developers that that's really hindering our growth here in Elkton. I'm not saying I agree with that or disagree, but I continue to hear that they say it hinders our growth on new construction. They say, look at Middletown, they're at $3,500 total. Smyrna's at $1,500. I mean, they start throwing out other numbers. I don't know. So I'd like to bring it up formally next week and maybe give it some additional thought and things. First of all, it wouldn't be the end of the world if we waived them for.
I would recommend you waive them. I recommend that you enact a resolution to suspend collection of major facility charges for residential lots.
Yeah.
That way, and then set a time frame, a sunset on it, and do it for a 3 year period, whatever you want to do it. And then you'll have time to see, because you know how many building permits you get now, you'll be able to see if it is an incentive. And if it is, it's, you can always go back and visit it, but
Yep.
a resolution would be a decision by the board not to enforce that collection. But I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for commercial development.
No, I agree with that.
We're not having issues with commercial development. And obviously, you're not gonna lose a lot of money because you're not collecting.
Well, rather than
Why?
waive, can we at least?
Not waive it, I said suspend it.
Suspend,
Yeah,
could
you
we at
don't-
least look at all these other areas surrounding us, what they do charge, so we have an idea?
Well,
I'm
of course
just
you could get
curious.
you could look at any of them.
Middletown,
But
Newark.
temporarily,
They're all
I suspend it.
different. That's what I want, I just would like to see it.
Yeah, they're based on their particular needs versus
True,
us, so
that's
we're,
true.
you gotta be careful,
Yeah.
about.
That's true.
And we just used about six hundred and some thousand to build 2 wells of major facility money
Mhm.
that didn't impact the users because it didn't come out of the user rate. So that money does come in handy.
It does, it certainly
For
does.
growth.
It does.
But it's a good test.
Well, my thinking was, is if there, once again, if we could build, well, we know from 2000 to 2007, we were building anywhere from 100 to 150 houses a year in Elkton. Then, of course, the economy hit us, and there was no building, and still to this day, we're only building 2 houses a year. The developers that own these lots are telling me, Mayor, $15,000 is going to be a huge help, because now they'll pass that savings on. Of course, will they pass the savings on? I don't know. But it is the user that pays that $15,000. Now, if we have, and I'm going to just shoot off my hip by saying we got 24 up there, 60, 84, well, listen, we got hundreds. But if there was a house in a quarter of those, now we're collecting a town tax, a property tax for those houses in perpetuity, rather than, at least there's some action. I'm not sure if it's going to work or not work, but I'm willing
Yeah, I think it's a great.
to have a shot at it. So we'll bring it up Wednesday night. Does anyone from the board have anything they want to bring up? Got a few minutes?
I just have a quick thing, because we were talking about trash. You know, my neighborhood, how it is by, it's town, then county, then town, and county. There are houses in the county portion that have put out their trees and shrubbery and all that, that are not gonna get picked up by the town, and they've been there for several weeks. So what do we do in that situation?
It's not our responsibility.
I know, but they're sitting there just, I mean, should we contact the county? Would that be?
The county doesn't collect anything. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if they even have an enforcement people.
Because they're new into the community, so I'm thinking.
Well, you can send a letter to the people that live there and say, you're not in town, but if you want to have it picked up, annex, you know.
There you go, I like
As long as they're, you know, unless there's, how many are you talking about?
There's 2 homes there that recently
On,
sold.
East.
Jarman.
On Jarman?
Yeah.
The contiguous and adjoining?
There, no, there's one in between them.
I'll have to look. I can look, but they're both on Jarman?
Yeah.
Okay, I can look at it. And sometimes you can annex if you're not contiguous. But I can send them a letter and tell them that we don't pick up your stuff because you're not in the town limits.
Thank you.
And I guess the last thing, just to bring up to the board, we had a meeting, Mary Jo and I had a meeting yesterday with a business that is going to relocate to Elkton, into the Upper Chesapeake Corporate Center. They're going to take the existing, the old Steel Technologies building, which is, I think it's been vacant for 7 years. 60,000 square foot building. They're going to do I guess they would be a job shop. They need the overhead cranes that are in that facility. It gave me the impression they're going to settle first week of July. Great,
And
great
they have a
news.
piece of equipment coming from Italy, $450,000 by ship. So I think Brad, we should track that.
Get the tracking number. So
I'm
we're-
sorry.
But it's,
I don't wonder what it is. What is it?
it's a steel vendor. It's a steel
Okay.
vendor. But I'll let you know who it is. Mr. Lemon?
I've got 2 things.
Yes, sir.
Number one, I want to thank Lewis and everybody associated with the town for what they did with the Redner's bike walk sidewalk. It looks really great. And I think it's probably finished now. It really looks good.
Yeah, they're gonna hydro seed tomorrow, where the disturbed soil is. We'll put a straw seed, sticky mass over, it, stabilize it, and the grass will grow. We're gonna do that tomorrow.
Everybody's using that sidewalk. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, I saw 5 or 6 kids using it the other day.
Yeah.
And it's
It's
safe
great.
now.
It's safe, yes.
Plus, Richard Lemon, remember the
Richard Lemon.
pedestrian way.
And you had a
I get a
second.
sign made up.
And you had a second comment.
Yeah, the other thing, have you had the bankers in yet about the grass cutting? Did you say you were gonna have it in maintenance of the grass?
Yeah, we started working on that. I know Michelle is working with the code enforcement. We're moving in that direction.
What I was going to ask you about is, I think that's a good idea to bring, and talk to them, it ties into Earl's concerns about keeping the properties up to code. But on the grass cutting, the thought I have, which I don't think will go over real well, but I thought I'd bring it up anyway, is that the town offered to cut these lawns and then send the banks a bill. Probably would be easier for the banks than for them to hire grass cutters, and it probably costs them less money. And you could say something like, we will cut these places every 3 weeks, send you a bill for whatever. And that way, it makes it easier for the bankers to get a bill and pay it, rather than to worry about hiring grass cutters and different properties and this and that. And that way, the town is in control. They know the grass will be cut.
Actually, that's a very good suggestion. We had What we found after we had our discussion about this the other day is by the time the grass gets to 12 inches, and then you send them a letter, now you're at 16 inches of growth on that grass, and then we cut it, they pay the bill. Now, I got to tell you, they pay it. They're happy to pay the $230 because now they're only paying for one cut a month. $230 for one cut a month is a steal. It's a bargain, so we're going to look at increasing that to maybe $1,000 a cut, and then we'll get their attention. Do you follow what I'm saying? We have to follow what our code
Get
says.
their attention,
Hey,
to do
why
what
not?
you said, is talk to them, and get them, because just like over here at PNC, the lady that used to be in charge of the bank lived in Delaware. The next guy that came in lived in Harford County, so forth and so on. They don't know anything about what's going on in
No.
town here, so you've got to tune them in, so they have an understanding of the issues and your concerns, and then I think you can go with it.
Very good. Anything else today? Meeting adjourned.